Hello and welcome to the show. Now, you guys have wanted me to build up a car for Autocross, first of all focusing on power. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, because Autocross has to be run in A-Class, the way the Rivals mode works, I have got to at least make sure the car gets to A-Class. And what I'm going to do for this build, we've got the Ford Country Squire. I'm going to give it 1,000 horsepower and then whatever else is needed to take it to the top of A-Class, and then we will see how it goes. So there will be, I'm thinking, some handling parts. I'm not quite sure how many we're going to get on the vehicle, possibly a fair few. The engine that we're going to be using is the V8 Racing, the NASCAR engine, essentially 825 horsepower from standard, and with the restrictors taken off, it's only halfway through C-Class. 994 horsepower in our Ford Country Squire. Now we are going to need it to get it up into A-Class, so the first thing to do is going to be some nice race tyres. To be fair, a vehicle like this, of course we're going to go maximum tyre width, 325s on the back and 235s on the front. We're going to have terrible understeer, but we might actually be able to put the power down at least, which is a plus. A car like this, because it is such low PI to start with, when I had the El Camino, I built that for an Autocross. I put all the handling on first and still got some 800 horsepower in the car because it is so low down on PI to start with. Oh, for God's sake, I'm still on blooming instinct of pressing Y to toggle the stats. No, go away, go away. Yeah, even with the 900 horsepower, also because the car is very, very heavy, the 1,000 horsepower going on in here is kind of less of an effect. I have gone for tyres first as opposed to weight reduction in this instance. We will do what we can in terms of weight reduction, but it's only going to be 382 pounds rather than 800. I'm happy with going for that option. I think tyres, when we've got this much power as well, I think the tyres are going to be a little bit more significant. Also, having that bit more weight might actually help it be stable. Anti-roll bars, yes please. We will have them. We have got aero as well on the car. Can we get a roll cage in? Probably nope. Most definitely nope in this. Actually, that's a big PI jump. Ooh, gearbox might be an issue. Gearbox might be a big issue in this car. No, apparently not. Oh, we can get a sport transmission on here. I am very surprised. I mean, I don't see why not. It's going to lose me a PI. I might as well. Then we can get something like driveline. There we go. Makes sense to me. Save some weight. Stick a diff in as well while we are here. So, 1,000 horsepower, near enough 800 torque. 3,500 pounds in a giant Ford Country Squire, and I am going to go and drive this through an autocross course. This should be interesting. Of course, to test out this absolute monster, we have come to the Hockenheim circuit. The country boat will get 3 runs through the autocross course, and hopefully one of them will be half decent. That's probably about as much as I'm going to expect from this car. As far as lap time goes, the real, I guess, rival we're looking at here would be the El Camino. It's the closest thing we have to this Country Squire. A 2:11.2 was the time set by the Chevy. If the Ford can get anywhere even remotely near that, I think it'll be doing very, very well. I'm expecting this to be quite difficult. I don't think oversteer is going to be too much of a problem. In all honesty, yes, there is a lot of power going on here. We do have some massive rear tyres. Perhaps oversteer is not going to be the worst of problems. It's probably a more accurate thing to say with this car. How do we get... Oh, God, we are very, very understeering. Now, we're going to accelerate like crazy. This is by far the most powerful... I say by far the most powerful car. The El Camino did have 800 plus horsepower, but... yeah, this is the most powerful vehicle to have gone through the autocross course. It's not quite the most torquey, that would be the Hummer. You know, it's not actually too bad. Once you kind of respect that you're going to have a tremendous amount of understeer, once you realise that it is going to be understeering like a boat, and you drive it accordingly, we're going to be slow on turning, but we are going to be very, very fast on acceleration, although I'm not going to make that corner. We're not making that. We're going to have to be a lot slower down there. I mean, you can see as well on the telemetry, oh God, the understeer through there is atrocious, that I can get to full throttle without wheel spin relatively quickly. I can't carry the quarter speed whatsoever. That is where we have issues, and that is what is going to be the biggest challenge in the country. Squire, there's some oversteer. Please slow down. It is very heavy, and that's probably not helping with the braking, and the tiny front tyres aren't helping either. We've got 40 miles an hour on the exit there. It's not the worst we've seen or something. This is very much going to be a point and squirt car for this autocross. Uh-oh. Bad things are happening there. We're going to have to really be slow, and then try and make the most of the absolutely savage power that we do. That's 117 miles an hour, and then we have to get on the brakes, and this car does not slow down very well. This will possibly set a record for the fastest vehicle if I can get it under control for various sections. It might just do it. You know, it could be worse. It could be worse, in all honesty, as we are going to have the final run towards the line. This is the sort of section the country Squire won't be liking. It will not be liking this bit, this slow speed change of direction. There is a lot of car here to be moving. But we are across the line. There was three gates hit, I think, in all of that. 15 seconds worth of time penalties. A little bit of dodgy driving from me. Maybe we can get close to that El Camino. Well, it is on to the second run for the boat. I'm definitely hoping we can find some time with the car. You were probably expecting me to say that this is the most difficult car I've autocrossed with. After all, it has not been built in the normal fashion. It's got far too much power, far too much weight, and is completely and utterly unsuited to this course. But in honesty, I don't think it is. I think the likes of the Metro were tougher in some ways to drive than this. Yes, this is horrendously understeering. Yes, it doesn't really slow down, doesn't carry that greater a speed through that section. However, it is predictable. It is predictable. I know what it's going to do when I come to this corner. It's going to be understeering, and if I go stupidly on the throttle, it's going to slide around. Whereas the Metro, you never quite knew when it was going to have grip and when it was going to be twitchy and try and murder you. I like predictability, especially when it comes to autocross. The splitter got the gate. I was trying to get a little too fast. That was a tiniest of nicks on the gate as well. Yeah, the predictability is always helpful with an autocross car. And while this isn't great, at least I do know what it's going to be doing, and I can work with that, and I can build on that nice and quickly. Whereas with the Metro, it's just terrifying. And a few of the other cars as well. I single out the Metro because that is a very twitchy car. A few of the other vehicles, with their sudden snappy oversteer and so on, have been a little bit more of a pain. Oh, that wasn't quite so good through there. Although we did still get a half-decent exit. I think second gear is probably what we're going to be using for vast amounts of this. Try to take speed through there. How quick can we get it? Oh, it's 120, but then it's really tough to get it slowed down. If I could actually carry speed through any of these corners. Oversteering through the tunnel. That's a first. Somehow, despite the ginormous length of this car, didn't hit a barrel, though I've messed up the hairpin. I've hit the barrel on the exit of the hairpin, and that didn't give me a penalty. Yet the barrel that I don't even see move in the wing mirror is the one that I got a penalty on. Never mind. It is a stupid vehicle, this one, to be tackling autocross with. But it's kind of working. I'm thinking it's not the worst thing imaginable as we weave our way towards the finish line. One gate was clipped, 5-second penalty. We're looking at about a 2:15, 2:14-ish at the moment, unless I can find some miraculous time. Let's hope so, eh? Well, it is looking like the El Camino may be a little bit out of reach in this, unless I can find a miraculous amount of time. I guess it is possible on this final run. I think we're going to struggle in this. Truth be told, the country Squire is just too understeering. I can't carry, well, any quarter speed whatsoever, and the brakes are awful. And your braking points are all very weird because the car accelerates so absurdly fast, you've got to brake extra early because you're going so much faster in the braking zone than, well, just about everything else. And then the car is big and heavy and has terrible brakes anyway. So, yeah, it's a handful, certainly, to get it quickly. But as I said, at least it is predictable. At least I know that it's going to be doing. And what it's going to be doing is, well, understeering, basically. Right, slow it down. Really make sure we get it slowed down for that section. Once more on the power. Now, we're not going to be able to be flat out through there. Oh, God, even at that speed, we were seriously struggling to get the car turned. It doesn't have the grip. I think this is one of the very few cars that have had to have such a big brake. It's definitely been the car that I've had to brake the most for that section. Now we're trying to be neat and tidy for this part of the course. I am actually going into first gear. Gear ratios are very, very long, which is helping me out massively with all of this. I'm managing to control the wheel spin even in first, so thinking, yeah, probably is working quite nicely. I have no doubt I could probably do this entire course in second gear, but I am wanting a little bit of acceleration. Neatly into the tunnel we go. A little bit close to the edge. 116 miles an hour on the run into the hairpin. Now we want to make sure we're going to have the exact problem we had last time. Just trying to get the car turned, and I carried a little bit too much mid-corner speed through the hairpin, and that was playing it very risky with a barrel on the run up towards this final section. Now, don't do anything stupid. I know you don't like this park country, Squire. I know you're really understeering through here, and this is not a good section for a car like this. I'm trying to take some speed. There's just none to be had. Run to the line at 1:15.0 in the country, Squire. Yeah, I tried with the car. There's just nothing in terms of front-end grip. You just cannot carry speed. The power delivery is not too bad for 1,000 horsepower rear-wheel drive country Squire. The power delivery is not too bad at all. I mean, in first gear, it's perfectly manageable. Second gear, you can be full throttle just about anywhere and it'll be okay. But I cannot get the front end of the car to turn in. And that means that we can't carry any corner speed through the gates, and the brakes are awful. So, yeah, an interesting challenge to drive around this course. Again, though, being predictable does make that a lot easier. It's very, very understeery, but I know what it's going to do at every single corner. It's not going to surprise you, which does make it that bit more manageable. It's time, the 1:15.0. Yes, it is a fair way down. It goes into 72nd place. It beats the Fiat 8V, the Lotus Carlton. They were the very, very first cars that I ran through here, so I think their tyres may be a little bit of it. Beats the Vandura, it beats the Mercedes Racing Truck Lamborghini LM002. It is only half a second down on the Rolls-Royce Wraith. It is only 2 seconds down on the Range Rover Sport SVR, and those are cars built sensibly to autocross. Oh, I say sensibly, you know, they're still quite unsuitable cars for autocross, but, you know, built for, well, specifically to autocross, you know, all handling first and then whatever power I could get. This thing, with 1,000 horsepower NASCAR engine, actually not that far down on them. So, yeah, it is a fair way down. It's some 12 seconds down on the Lamborghini Miura, but for what it is, I think that's actually quite a respectable showing for such an overpowered monster. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.